So how are you feeling right now?
I'm actually quite nervous, I'm not going to lie.
What do you think you're nervous about?
Just about being in my underwear, I think, because I'm going to let you into a secret, okay? Never been in a bikini on a beach, ever.
Why?
Just because I've never felt confident enough to do it. But then when I look at other girls, I don't know, like the plus size girls that I look at who I kind of would love to look like, they can do it, and I'm like, well, why can't I do it?
That's ironic because so many girls probably that are their size wish that they had your body.
No, but it's not to do with body. I can't tell you. It's just like I just feel so insecure about it. And then I went on a shoot, and they were just like, right, yeah, just get into your bra and knickers next to this male model on a bed, and I was like, really, you know? And that was like the first time I've kind of been like that in public. And you're like, oh my God, my boobs are so small. And you know, and like you're really embarrassed and like got cellulite or whatever. And he's there with his 6-pack, you know.
Can you put your bag down?
Yeah.
You used to cover up more?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, completely. And then when I had to start going on castings and stuff and like wearing tank tops and really, you know, figure hugging clothes, it just made me feel like really weird.
Why do you have to wear that for a casting?
You got to show off your figure, you got to show off your body, but then when you're there and you've got like all these other girls that are like 10 times thinner than you, like walking around, you do feel a bit shit, you know. And like, everyone looks the same. Everyone's wearing like black tank tops.
Could you wear what you're wearing right now?
When I was like, you know, really fixated on modelling and like, oh my God, I've got to do everything by the book, then I wouldn't have done it at all.
So modeling, the experience of modeling sort of, it decreased your ability to express yourself?
Yeah, 100%. It's really hot. When I was in school, so I must have been about 16, I started getting scouted and I was really like embarrassed by it because I was such a geek, literally. Like no boys fancy me, like it was so embarrassing. But I remember at the time, even before then, I was really, really unconfident. I wasn't feeling great about myself. So modelling probably wasn't the best route to go down. If you're feeling a bit shit about yourself anyway, it's not really the best industry to go into. You're literally subjected to being looked at all the time and, you know, commented on and, you know, no, change this and like wear that and do this and say that when you go to castings, and you're like, okay, so you end up kind of becoming someone that you're not. It's so warm now. Look, but I have got my boobs out a bit. I don't know, I started kind of feeling like when I was on the shoots that I was the more curvaceous one, and that was made quite clear quite a few times. All right, well, we'll get this girl to wear that one because she's, you know, really skinny and stuff, and then we'll make Charlie wear this one because she's more like womanly. And I was like, for fuck's sake, I'm a size like 2 to 4. And then I'd go meet up with like my friends who weren't models, and they'd be like, Charlie, you know, like you've lost loads of weight, or like, you know, you look, you know, you're quite thin, and I could kind of see a difference, but it's really weird. It's like, because you kind of can't when you're in it. When you're in it, you can't, you literally do think that you're bigger all the time.
So do you feel like you developed a little bit of body dysmorphia from
Yeah, 100%. So like salt was a no-go, like no salt at all. I was terrified to like go out for a meal, like, you know, with someone and stuff. So it like ruined my relationship with my ex-boyfriend. You know, we couldn't ever do anything nice because I'd be constantly worried. I was like literally psycho. Like I feel so bad now. You can't go out for a meal without worrying about the salt and thinking like, oh my God, no, but if I go on a casting tomorrow, I'm going to look really bloated and stuff. Because the thing is with modelling is that it becomes your life. You can't just switch off from it. You can't just go, yeah, you know, I'll leave it for a few days, because your diet and your exercise regime and everything is something you have to do every single day. I'd be constantly measuring myself like 5 times to make sure I hadn't gone up.
Literally 5 times a day?
Like literally 5, and then going, hang on, right, doing it again. And then like doing it again, and then like putting your legs together and like measuring yourself again.
With like a measuring tape?
Yeah, with like a measuring tape, just constantly.
5 times a day?
Yeah, if not more sometimes. If I wasn't a 35 hip or below, it would just be like, you know, the end of the world. Like literally dreading going into into your agency and getting measured. I went to Paris, and when I got there, they were all speaking in French, and then they were like going like talking. And then he just comes over to me and he's like, Charlie, you need to lose like 2 inches in a week. And I was like, how is that possible? Like, I understand if you're like, you know, this big, but I remember just being like, what? Like, how can I do that? And then that sends you crazy because you're like, no, I have to do it.
Would you ever actually starve yourself?
In Paris I did, yeah. In Paris I did.
What did that look like? What did actually starving yourself mean?
Oh my God, like literally just not eating anything, like walking everywhere, till my legs were really sore, and then just not, I don't know, like what did I eat? It was really stupid though. I'd have like chocolate because obviously like your energy levels would drop, and then by about 7 p.m. you're just like, I've got to go to bed now. I'm too tired.
So what would you eat in a day?
That didn't work. That didn't last very long.
What did you eat in a day when you weren't eating?
I don't know. Not bread. Nothing like that. It's hard now because it was quite a while ago. Just like energy bars, maybe like 2 energy bars, lots of like hot drinks.
In a whole day, 2 energy bars.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Maybe a bit, yeah. And like for lunch you'd have like soup or something. But yeah, and it was always like, you know, if you lose this weight, then, you know, we'll send you to this person and we'll send you to this person. And, you know, it just never transpires, you know, it never happens. But yeah, that was just a really shit time. Like Paris was just, oh God, it was just the worst, you know. And I was like, please don't ever send me back there. Like, please don't send me back. I just never felt sexy, like never really at all. Or never felt really good enough and that kind of stuff. Turning point for me was, I was meant to be doing a shoot on the Saturday, and on the Friday they were like, yeah, like you're all confirmed for the shoot tomorrow, and I was like, okay, great. And then on the Friday night they were like, sorry, the shoot's been cancelled. And then the photographer that was meant to be working with me messaged me, and he was like, why is the shoot been cancelled? And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, you know, your agency said that you're not here or whatever it was. And I was like, what are you on about? Literally, I've been sat at home doing fuck all.
Did the shoot actually not get cancelled? They just put someone else on?
Yeah, and then they sent them all other girls that were available. So he was like, but I want to work with Charlie. And he sent me all the screenshots of the emails. So that pissed me off majorly. And then on the Monday, they were like, oh, can you come in for a chat? And I was like, I'm just going to ring you, I'm not going to be embarrassed. Rang them up and they were like, oh God, like this is so bad, like, you know, doing this on the phone, you know. And I was like, how is it, like, how would it be easier to do it to my fucking face in person? They were just like, oh, you know, we've been told, like literally, they hadn't seen me in like, you know, a while. We've been told that that you've put on weight, and you know, we really appreciate like how much you go to the gym, but to be honest, it's just not, you know, it's just not going to work and stuff. And I was like, are you serious? And then the next day I just wrote this Facebook thing. I was just like, you know, here's a big fuck you to my agency, and it just winds me up. I'm just getting pissed off with it now. Just basically saying you can't dictate to me what is and isn't beautiful. You know, who are you to basically say that if I lose this amount of weight, then you'll push me for jobs? At what point do we say that if you get down to like a 34 hip, that makes you a model, that makes you great? No, it fucking doesn't. If I'm not a good model, if you don't want to book me because I'm not a good model, that's fair enough. But don't say to me that you're not going to get me work unless I get down to this measurement, or if I change this, or if I change that, because that's...
Starve yourself.
Yeah, or starve myself, or do whatever it is, because that is really not on.
Did that Facebook post like blow up or something?
So what happened was, I wrote it, and I remember just being like, you know, in my kitchen, making a cup of tea, posted it. And then literally within about an hour, it had got like loads and loads of likes on Facebook. And then suddenly it started getting shared and shared and shared and shared. So I went and had a bath, and then I came downstairs and it was getting more shares. So I was literally watching this like soap opera, because I was thinking, what have I done? One of the bookers apparently wrote on it something like, yeah, we did drop you because you put on weight. Then deleted the comment, and then afterwards wrote, oh yeah, you know, you should tell the whole truth or something like that about what happened. And I was like, what truth? Like, what else is there? Everyone knows it's fucking true. And then some people commented on that post being like,
Sorry.
You've just deleted a comment saying, like, admitting that she's fat. Like, you don't go back on it, you know? I just thought, that's it now. I'm never going to work again. But then it was really weird, because then I started getting messages from other agencies being like, we'd like to represent you. It was really weird.
From seeing that?
Yeah, from seeing it. This is what's really weird about it all. I'm not changing. I don't want to change a whole industry, right? Because fashion and modelling is about a fantasy, and you're buying into a fantasy, and that's why we all do it. We all go to a shop because we've seen a model wear clothes that we like, or we open a magazine and we pin those pictures onto our walls because it removes us from our everyday life. What my issue is the fact that size-wise, we say that unless you are a certain size, you are not a model, because that is going to fuck any person up who looks at that. And we've got all these young girls with eating disorders and, you know, body image problems and stuff, and we don't question that. And we just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Beauty isn't measured by a number.
So what's a moment where you have felt extremely vulnerable?
I don't really give that much myself away to people.
How come?
It takes me a while to kind of do it. I don't want to get too close to someone and then be hurt. I went to boarding school and I felt really alone there. And that's probably, actually, there's your answer. That's when I felt most vulnerable. You know, I felt completely and utterly alone. So we moved around all the time when I was growing up, like left, right, centre, like could never really make any friends. So my parents said, we're going to put you in boarding school because, I'm going to get really upset now.
Go ahead, let yourself.
So yes, I went to boarding school and then you know, I was 12 and I just felt completely alone, and I'll never forget that feeling. And there's been lots of times, you know, where I feel like I've needed someone and they haven't been there.
Like parents?
Yeah, and like, you know, there's been, you know, lots of time, I don't know, where by the end of it I was just so depressed. I couldn't even lift my head off the pillow every morning. I just fucking hated it with a passion.
You didn't like the people, you didn't like...
It wasn't so much the people, it was just being at school. I just, you know, as a person, I want to be at home, I want to be with my family. I don't want to be put to bed at night by some woman turning off a light. And I know that they wanted to give me a better future, and I completely appreciate that, but, you know, I've never felt lonelier. And it is ironic because, you know, since this whole thing happened, I've become the person who I was like when I was like a child, you know, when I was confident, I had no worries, and then when I hit my teens, it was just all like, bleh.
So back to like your true self.
Yeah, and that is precisely how I feel.
Oh, God.
Look how pasty I am. This is why I need to go to the beach.
No. When do you feel the most beautiful?
I knew you were going to ask me this question because I saw the other videos and I don't know.
Think about it in terms of inside. It's not like when do you feel the most beautiful? Oh, when I've tried a new mascara or something. You know, it's it's like really think about it. When do you feel the most beautiful? There must be that moment.
This little girl that I stayed with in New York, she came over to me this one day and she was like, you know what, Charlie? I was like, what? She was like, you're really, really smart, and just walked off. And that was like, oh, so nice. And that made me feel so good. But I do think though, like if you've got a chance to model, give it a go, because, you know, you get to travel, you get to meet people, but you just got to stand your ground. And that's what I didn't do, and I wish I had. I suppose I did in the end, didn't I? But, you know, yeah, now I'm doing it, but I wish I'd done it earlier.
So why in your body is it a good place to be?
Because I feel like happier than I've ever been. And I feel like I'm being myself for the first time in my adult life and teenage life. And I'm making up for lost time that I spent worrying about my looks. So that's why I feel good. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. How do you feel now?
Well, I feel a bit naked still, but I think I'm going to do what you said. I'm just going to have to get a holiday, aren't I, guys? And just practice my bikini walking. That's what I need to do now. Yeah, but no, I feel happy. I feel like I'm just being myself now, and that's all you can be. And I'm not going to worry about what people think anymore.